Hello friends. So now we are going to discuss the next questions of 2019. What I have seen in the course of discussion of previous years questions, that if you thoroughly prepare previous 10 years question, your knowledge base would expand, and 30% of the questions are repeated, only the language is changed. Answer remains the same, only the language of the question changes. 30%, matlab that's huge. So you must thoroughly go through the previous 10 years questions, and I'm elaborately explaining them with all the interrelationship. So this will immensely benefit you. Without skipping any question, go through all the previous 10 years question. I'll be discussing the GS paper 1 questions that are from geography section, and you will see 30% are repeated, only the language is changed. So the next question is, what is water stress? What is water stress? See, water stress refers to a phenomena whereby annual per capita availability of water is goes down below 1700 cubic meter. जब per capita availability of water, annual per capita availability of water goes below 1700 cubic meter, then that region is termed as water stressed. इसके नीचे वाटर स्ट्रेस, दिस इज वाटर स्ट्रेस, इससे भी एक खराब कंडीशन होती है, दैट इज वाटर स्कैर्सिटी. दिस is a phenomena where annual per capita availability of water goes below 1000 cubic meter. Water scarcity is a phenomena where the annual per capita availability of water in any region, when it goes below 1000 cubic meter, मतलब एक आदमी के लिए साल में ये 1000 cubic meter से भी कम पानी अवेलेबल है, तो that means that region is water scarcity, is having water scarcity. And still absolute scarcity, this is a phenomena where the annual per capita availability of water is less than 500 cubic meter. जब किसी रीजन में एनुअल पर कैपिटा अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ वाटर, एक आदमी के लिए साल में जो पानी अवेलेबल है, इट गोज बिलो 500 क्यूबिक मीटर, देन दोज रीजन्स आर टर्म्ड एज रीजन्स ऑफ एब्सोल्यूट स्कैर्सिटी. इंडिया का केस अगर हम देखें तो व्हेन वी गॉट इंडिपेंडेंस इन 1947, एनुअल पर कैपिटा अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ वाटर, मतलब एक आदमी के लिए साल में जो वाटर की अवेलेबिलिटी थी, दैट वाज 6000 क्यूबिक मीटर. वहीं जब असेसमेंट 2001 में किया गया, दिस एनुअल पर कैपिटा अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ वाटर डिक्लाइन टू 1820 क्यूबिक मीटर 2001 में. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इन 2021, this has declined to 1486 cubic meter. That means it has gone below 1700 cubic meter. India is already a water stressed region. As of now, India is already a water stressed region. Now, if you talk about overall, हमारे यहाँ we in India have account for 18% of the global population, and India has access to 4% of global fresh water resources. हमारे यहाँ पॉपुलेशन वर्ल्ड की 18% है, लेकिन वर्ल्ड के फ्रेश वाटर रिसोर्स का केवल 4% है फ्रेश वाटर, और पॉपुलेशन इज 18% of the world population. So there's a discrepancy. The amount of fresh water available in India is less as compared to its population. Now, इंडिया का टोटल यूटिलाइजेबल फ्रेश वाटर रिसोर्स, यूटिलाइजेबल फ्रेश वाटर रिसोर्स is 1122 billion cubic meter per year. इंडिया का टोटल यूटिलाइजेबल फ्रेश वाटर रिसोर्स कितना है? 1122 BCM, बिलियन क्यूबिक मीटर पर ईयर। इसमें से जो सरफेस वाटर है, surface water accounts for 690 billion cubic meter, and groundwater, which is found below the ground, is 432 billion cubic meter। यानी कि हमारा टोटल फ्रेश वाटर रिसोर्स का 62% इज सरफेस वाटर एंड 38% इज ग्राउंड वाटर। नाउ let us see the second part of the question. How and why does this water stress differ regionally in India? पहले how का आंसर दे देते हैं, फिर why का। पहला क्वेश्चन तो सेकंड पार्ट है, how does the water stress differ regionally in India? मतलब कहाँ वाटर स्ट्रेस ज्यादा है, कहाँ वाटर स्ट्रेस कम है, कहाँ वाटर स्ट्रेस मॉडरेट है। हाउ द वाटर स्ट्रेस डिफर रीजनली इन India. See, this is the water stress map. Water stress map of the country. It clearly shows the red and orange color shows extreme water stress. Green, light green area shows least water stress. अगर तुम मैक्सिमम वाटर स्ट्रेस एरिया देखोगे, इट इंक्लूड्स पंजाब, हरियाणा, वेस्टर्न यूपी, बुंदेलखंड रीजन ऑफ यूपी, राजस्थान, वेस्टर्न एमपी, कच्छ, लीवर्ड साइड ऑफ वेस्टर्न घाट, and this Rayalaseema region and Tamil Nadu plateau region. This red color shows the extreme water stress region. तो ये क्या क्या? पंजाब, हरियाणा, वेस्टर्न यूपी, राजस्थान, वेस्टर्न एमपी, कच्छ, लीवर्ड साइड ऑफ वेस्टर्न घाट एंड plateau Rayalaseema and plateau region of Tamil Nadu. These are extreme water stress region. और मजेदार बात यह है, यहां पर annual rainfall is less than 100 centimeter. These areas receive low rainfall. These are those areas that receive low rainfall. On the other hand, least water stress region, see Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, entire northeast. You can see Himalayan foothills of UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, eastern part of MP and coastal Andhra Pradesh. These regions are least water stressed. Why? These regions also happen to be those areas which receive more than 100 centimeter rainfall. Rest of the country is moderately stressed by water. Now, at another level, how the water stress varies. It has been found this water stress is acute in urban areas. There are 21 metro cities including Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, which are racing towards day zero. Day zero means soon they will be left with no groundwater to be extracted. Groundwater aquifers will be completely depleted. 21 मेट्रो सिटीज हैं इंक्लूडिंग दीज दिल्ली, चेन्नई, बैंगलोर, हैदराबाद, विच आर रेसिंग टुवर्ड्स डे जीरो. डे जीरो मीन्स no more water is left in the underground aquifers to be extracted. So this first part was how water stress differ regionally in India. This is how it differs regionally. Why? Now why question involves analysis. Why does this water stress differ regionally? Why is it that these areas are water stressed and others are not? First, see these region, if you see specifically Punjab, Haryana, Western UP and Rajasthan, इंदिरा गांधी कैनाल, दे हैव डेंस नेटवर्क ऑफ कैनाल. एक तो यहाँ रेनफॉल कम होती है, एक मेजर रीजन तो ये है, वाटर स्ट्रेस इसलिए है. दीज आर द रीजन्स वेयर रेनफॉल इज लेस. यहाँ रेनफॉल लेस है, जब तक मानसून पंजाब में पहुंचता है लौटना शुरू हो जाता है. These regions receive less rainfall. Leeward side of Western Ghat receive less rainfall, and this region of Rayalaseema and Tamil Nadu lies on the leeward side of Arabian Sea branch. They lie in the rain shadow of Western Ghat. Now, अब और specific region देखें, इतनी ज़्यादा water stress क्यों है? the regions of Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Western UP, they have dense network of canal. Dense network canal, वहां पर canal का network बहुत तगड़ा है. But despite that, these regions, in these regions, the level of groundwater development is more than 100%. Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Western UP में the level of groundwater development is more than 100%. What is groundwater development? It is the ratio of annual groundwater extraction to annual groundwater availability. This is groundwater development is the ratio of annual groundwater extraction to annual groundwater availability. In Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Western UP, it is more than 100% in 200, because the extraction of groundwater is more than the groundwater availability. As a result, water tables are continuously declining in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Western UP. Only in Western UP. Here groundwater development. Why? Because of advent of green revolution and intensification of cultivation. Green revolution required push button irrigation. कैनाल से काम नहीं चलता था, इमीडिएटली फर्टिलाइजर लगाई फौरन पानी लगाना है. दिस लेड टू एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ पंपिंग सेट्स इन एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड, because and basically green revolution intensified the agriculture, so people started reaping 2 to 3 crops in a year, so amount of water required was even more, and canal was not suitable for green revolution because it required immediate application of water. So tube wells were installed in various parts. So and moreover, short growing high yielding varieties, the farmers went for multiple crops in a year, so amount of rate of water withdrawal from the ground increased. And second, because of availability of groundwater, the cropping pattern of these areas underwent change. Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, rice came into the cropping pattern. Rice is a water relishing crop. It's not suitable for areas less than 100 centimeter rainfall. Here the rainfall is extremely less. These are arid areas. 1 kg of rice production requires 3000 to 5000 liters of fresh water. And as a result, what happened? The rate of withdrawal of water from the underground sources multiplied because of intensification of agriculture and moreover introduction of water relishing crops like paddy cultivation. Now, it is only after paddy cultivation and after green revolution that this rate of withdrawal of water has got expedited. 1980 से पहले surface water, हमारे पास surface water reserves ज़्यादा हैं, resources, ground water resource कम है. Before 1980, the use of surface water for irrigation was more and the use of groundwater for irrigation was less. But after 1980, with the expansion of green revolution, the usage of groundwater in irrigation has far exceeded to that of surface water. Now groundwater accounts for 62% of the total irrigation. Surface water accounts for just 24.5% of the total irrigation. Irrigation requirement की 62% needs are met by groundwater and only 24.5% are met by surface water. This led to lowering of water table. ऐसा क्यों होता है? ऐसा क्यों हुआ? ग्राउंड वाटर इंक्रीज क्यों हो गया? वाई सरफेस वाटर? सी एवरीवेयर कैनाल्स आर नॉट देयर, एवरीवेयर रीच ऑफ वाटर इज नॉट देयर. सो in India, the availability of surface water, despite being greater than that of groundwater, but due to decentralized availability of groundwater, तुम जहां तुम्हारा एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड है वहीं पर तुम ग्राउंड वाटर विड्रॉ कर सकते हो, बट सेंट्रलाइज सिस्टम ऑफ इरिगेशन लाइक कैनाल्स मे नॉट बी देयर. So groundwater, its ease of availability, and moreover Easement Act 1884, a British time का act है, which gives the owner of piece of land full right over the underlying that water lies below his land. अगर किसी के पास कोई patch of land है, Easement Act of 1884 gives full right to the owner of the land to utilize the water lying below his ground, right of water under it. इसके अलावा ग्राउंड वाटर क्यों इतनी तेजी से यूज होने लगा? गवर्नमेंट ने क्रेडिट दी, सब्सिडीज दी, लो पावर टैरिफ दिए कि खूब निकालो पानी, बिजली का खर्चा नहीं आएगा, लो पावर टैरिफ. दिस फर्दर एक्सपीडाइटेड द एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ ग्राउंड वाटर. अब these areas lying on the leeward side of Western Ghat and Rayalaseema in Tamil Nadu, they are in receipt of very low water. पानी बहुत कम आता है, बरसात का पानी. So these are the areas which are deficient both in surface water and ground water. And hard rocky terrains of Western Ghat, it's not possible to construct canals or dig tube wells. तो यहाँ टैंक इरिगेशन होता है. And the agriculture is pursued with the help of टैंक इरिगेशन. चूंकि यहाँ ओवरऑल वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी कम है, सो बेसिकली वॉट एवर वाटर इज अवेलेबल दैट इज यूटिलाइज नॉट ओनली फॉर एग्रीकल्चर बट ऑल्सो फॉर डोमेस्टिक एंड इंडस्ट्रियल यूसेज. सो वाटर स्ट्रेस इज वेरी हाई. और सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये है द रैपिड पेस ऑफ अर्बनाइजेशन दैट हैज टेकन प्लेस इन इंडिया. यू सी मोस्ट ऑफ द मेट्रो सिटीज आर लाइंग इन द नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न पार्ट. यहाँ पर तुम देखोगे केवल कलकत्ता है और एक दो सिटीज और है. मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर लाइंग इन दिस पार्ट. इंटेंस अर्बनाइजेशन से पहली चीज तो ये है द नेचुरल कवर ऑफ वेजिटेशन वाज रिप्लेस्ड बाय कंक्रीट जंगल्स. सो बेसिकली इन अर्बन एरियाज व्हाट हैपेंस आफ्टर हैवी रेन water flows through drains into the river into the sea. Seepage of water to underground water table is reduced. And with dense population concentration in metro cities, the requirement of water for domestic and industrial use is exponentially high. और seepage हो नहीं रहा है. तो basically these areas are undergoing water stress. Now अब यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, सर्टेन इंडस्ट्रीज आर गेटिंग लोकेटेड नाउ. जैसे अभी तुम रिसेंटली एग्जांपल लो लाइक सेमीकंडक्टर प्लांट. इट रिक्वायर्स लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ अल्ट्रा क्लीन वाटर. इट रिक्वायर्स लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ अल्ट्रा क्लीन वाटर for its proper functioning. Such numerous industries are there that require large amount of water. In urban areas, the domestic as well as industrial usage of water has increased to an extent. Yes, these in शहरों का ground water is reaching day zero. The demand for domestic and industrial use has multiplied manifold in these metro cities. So that is the reason why water stress. ये एरियाज तो ऐसे हैं, यहाँ अर्बनाइजेशन भी उतना नहीं हुआ है. देखो कौन सी मेजर सिटी है, यहाँ पर कोई मेजर सिटी नहीं है. पटना एक छोटी सी, एक कलकत्ता है. मोस्ट ऑफ द मेजर सिटीज आर इन द वेस्टर्न पार्ट. सो इंटेंसिव यूसेज ऑफ वाटर एंड मोरओवर विद मतलब अर्बन एरियाज में डेंस पॉपुलेशन की वजह से उनकी डिमांड ऑफ डोमेस्टिक वाटर हैज ऑल्सो इंक्रीज्ड. सो हाउ एंड वाई does the water stress differ regionally? Water stress differ regionally, उसका रीजन यही है कि इस रीजन में रेनफॉल कम होती है एंड बेसिकली बिकॉज ऑफ इंटेंसिफिकेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, urbanization, dense population cluster, the rate of withdrawal and usage of water has increased. That is leading to water stress. Now, second question is, how do ocean currents and water masses differ in their impact on marine life and coastal ecosystem? ओशन करेंट्स और वाटर मासेस का इम्पैक्ट मेरीन लाइफ पर और कोस्टल इकोसिस्टम पर डिफरेंट कैसे होता है? नाउ ओशन करेंट्स आर स्ट्रीम्स ऑफ वाटर दैट मूव कॉन्स्टेंटली इन अ डिफाइंड डायरेक्शन लाइक गल्फ स्ट्रीम, कैनरी करंट, North equatorial current, South equatorial current. These are streams of water flowing constantly in a definite direction. दूसरी तरफ water mass क्या होता है? Water mass is an extensive body of water that is static, that is mostly characterized by homogeneous temperature and salinity. Water mass is an extensive body of water that is mostly static and it is characterized by homogeneity in temperature and salinity. Now ocean currents and water masses are integral part. These happen to be integral part of marine ecosystem and they play a key role in distribution of marine life and affecting the conditions of coastal areas. ओशन करंट की अगर बात करें, ओशन करंट्स आर द रिजल्ट ऑफ न्यूमरस फैक्टर्स like temperature difference, salinity difference, Coriolis force, gravitational force, planetary winds. Among them, planetary winds exert most influencing role on ocean current. Planetary winds का जो impact है, that is very pronounced. If you see in tropical seas, जो tropical areas हैं, this is tropic 30 degree north and this is 30 degree south. These are tropics, and between this is equator. Equator is this. This is equator. Now you see within tropics, what we see under the impact of trade winds, northeast trades, southeast trades, northeast trades, southeast trades, northeast trades, southeast trades, northeast trades, southeast trades. Under the impact of trade winds, these trade winds exert a frictional drag on the water. In all tropical seas, they blow from east to west, east to west. As a result, they exert a frictional drag and they move the warm surface water towards the western side of tropical seas. As a result, on the eastern side of tropical sea, you see upwelling of cold water, upwelling of cold water. On the eastern side, you see upwelling of cold water, upwelling of cold water. Under the impact of trade winds, you find upwelling of cold water on the eastern side. Because of frictional drag of trade winds, they drag the warm surface water towards western side. To compensate for this loss of surface water, cold water upwells from below. As the trade winds drag the warm surface water, cold water upwells along the eastern margins of tropical seas. It upwells in the eastern margins of tropical sea. As a result, cold currents are always found on the eastern part of tropical sea. And since here upwelling takes place, this upwelling brings nutrients that proliferates planktons, which happen to be the food for the fish. So these areas marked by cold current are great fishing zones. That is eastern margins of the tropical seas where cold water is upwelling. This lead to the formation of these cold current like Canary current, Benguela current, Peru current, Californian current, West Australian current. All are the result of upwelling of cold water because trade winds drag away the warm surface water. So cold water upwells along the eastern margins of tropical sea. This brings nutrients, therefore planktons are there. Fishing is a thriving activity. But if you see the impact of these coastal current on the coastal land area, here most of the fishes पूरे tropical sea में जहाँ भी fishing होती है, it is confined to eastern part of tropical sea because it is here that the upwelling is taking place. It is here that this upwelling is taking place. Because of this upwelling, nutrients are found. This upwelling is the cause of these cold currents. These cold currents are the result of upwelling. And because of this upwelling, nutrients and fishing is thriving industry in the eastern part of tropical sea. But the adjoining coastal area, areas adjoining to cold current is desert because of desiccating impact of cold current. होता क्या है, cold current itself are the result of trade winds, and here the trade winds are blowing from land to sea. They are blowing from land to sea. See, on the western margins, they are blowing from land to sea. As a result, the coastal areas adjoining the cold current are marked by desert, like West Australian desert, here Namib desert, here West African desert, here Atacama desert, here Mexican desert. The coastal areas adjoining the cold current are characterized by deserts everywhere, right? But the fishing is very flourishing. On the western side, what we see on the western side of tropical seas, we have warm currents like warm Brazil current, warm North Equatorial current, Caribbean current, warm Florida current. On the western side of tropical sea, warm current. Here see warm Mozambique current and warm Agulhas current, isn't it? Here, warm Somali current. On western side of tropical seas, warm East Australian current, western side of Pacific Ocean. Warm north equatorial current, warm Kuroshio current, warm Kuroshio current, warm Florida current, western part of tropical sea, warm Brazil current, warm north equatorial current, warm Mozambique current, warm Somali current, the western part of Pacific Ocean, warm East Australian current, warm Kuroshio current. Now these warm currents plus this tropic trade winds drag the warm surface on the warm water on the western part of tropical seas. Warm water is not conducive for aquatic organisms. देखो हर जगह trade winds are dragging the warm surface water and warm currents are there. Warm water raises the rate of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis का रेट बढ़ जाता है. As a result, large number of organic matter crops up. That leads to algal bloom. When this organic matter falls onto the sea, automatically bacteria come into existence, and aerobic bacteria come into existence to decompose this organic matter. And these aerobic bacteria which come into existence to decompose the organic matter, they use up the dissolved oxygen. That is, they increase the biological oxygen demand of water. And when the more and more water is used up by these bacteria, more and more water of sea is used up by these aerobic bacteria, the water dissolved oxygen in water decreases. As a result, aquatic organisms like fishes, they mostly disappear. So in tropical seas, it is only along the eastern margins that fishing is important. On the western part, because warm surface water is dragged and warm currents are there, because that is warm water is there, so rate of photosynthesis increases, organic matter grows profusely, algal bloom takes place. Organic matter को डिकम्पोज करने के लिए बैक्टीरिया आ जाते हैं, दे यूज अप द डिजॉल्व्ड ऑक्सीजन, सो biological oxygen demand is increased, dissolved oxygen is less, so less aquatic organisms. But the impact of warm current along the coast is very positive. These warm current cause copious rainfall along the western coast, western coastal area, that is along the western coast or eastern coast of continent, western margins of tropical seas, where these warm currents are there, they bring copious rainfall. Everywhere sugarcane cultivation, agriculture is flourishing, lush green vegetation. Along warm current, they bring warm moisture with them, they cause rainfall, the copious rainfall. Everywhere agriculture is flourishing and lush green vegetation is there, and sugarcane cultivation is done on a large scale. Now, if you see the case of middle latitudes, here what we see, the temperature of the water bodies of middle latitudes is moderate. Here fishing is important everywhere. For example, where the Gulf Stream leaves the coast, huge upwelling of water takes place, bringing nutrients. So fishing is very important along the eastern coast of North America, because Gulf Stream, when it moves away from the coast under the drag of westerlies, it causes huge upwelling, which is also known as Cabot current or cold wall. This upwelling brings nutrients. Moreover, this warm Gulf Stream water keeps this coast of Norway open throughout the year, prevents freezing. As a result, fishing continues to be an important activity even along the northern margins of Europe. This carries this warm surface water and warm saline water to these high latitudes, which enables fishing even in the high latitudes. Grand Bank, Grand Bank, Dogger Bank, coast of Norway, they are great fishing grounds. So in middle latitudes, fishing is important throughout the region because its temperature is moderate. Moreover, Gulf Stream enables the fishing even in the high latitudes of European coast. Now, the meeting zones of cold and warm current are also great fishing grounds. उसकी वजह सिंपल है, जैसे यहाँ लैब्राडोर करंट आ रहा है, इट एंड लैब्राडोर करंट मीन्स गल्फ स्ट्रीम नियर ग्रैंड बैंक. हियर Brazil current meets with Falkland current. Here basically Agulhas currents, where the meeting is taking place, यह Oyashio current meets Kuroshio current. जहाँ meeting होती है ना currents की, where in those areas this warm current is moving away, which is causing upwelling. As this warm current moves away, causes upwelling, so fishing becomes important. Here again, Kuroshio current is moving away from the coast. It causes upwelling. Here fishing is important, where Oyashio meets Kuroshio. Here Falkland current meets Brazil current, and Brazil current turns eastward. As a result, it causes upwelling. So fishing is important. Now, many of the marine species are dependent on these ocean currents for their migration. The ocean currents guide them during the course of migration. Many marine species undertake seasonal migration that are often influenced by ocean currents. Ocean currents aid in their migration and dispersal across vast oceanic distances. Now let us see the impact of water masses. Impact of water masses. See, water masses have huge impact, although it is localized. Ocean currents travel to far off regions, influencing the climate of the world on a large scale. Water masses are homogeneous bodies of water, extensive bodies of water, which are more or less homogeneous in terms of temperature and salinity. Now, जैसे Sargasso Sea है, यहाँ पर Sargasso Sea is warm saline water covered with seaweeds. Sargasso Sea is extensive because of strong gyre of current in Atlantic Ocean. Water in the central part in tropical zones is practically motionless. Here, basically, because of more evaporation, high evaporation, the salinity is high, temperature is high, evaporation is high. Here, these conditions in seaweeds are floating seaweeds are there. Here, European eels are found in large number. They come here for breeding because they can hide in seaweeds. Birds are practically absent because they cannot find their prey. तो किसी भी ओशन में तुम इन जनरल भी ले लो, कोई वाटर मास है, इन एनी वाटर मास हैव डिस्टिंक्ट सैलिनिटी एंड टेम्परेचर प्रोफाइल्स. मतलब अगर तुम किसी भी वाटर मास को कंसीडर करते हो, टू टेक एनी वाटर मास वर्टिकली, you will see distinct temperature and salinity profiles. They have distinct temperature and salinity profiles vertically, which create specific habitat condition. Distinct temperature and salinity profiles vertically, which create specific habitat condition. For example, Antarctic bottom. At Antarctic bottom, cold saline water sinks down to the bottom of Antarctica, which creates specific ecosystem for specific marine life. The Antarctic bottom layer, which is cold and saline, support unique deep sea ecosystem. वैसे ही ओशन में डिफरेंट लेवल्स पर वाटर मास हैव डिस्टिंक्ट सैलिनिटी एंड टेम्परेचर प्रोफाइल्स विच क्रिएट स्पेसिफिक हैबिटेट कंडीशन. अब होता क्या है, horizontally the density of sea water goes on changing. Denser the water, it is found deeper in the ocean. The water masses with different density create layers. Water masses with different density create layers in the ocean, leading to stratification. ये layer they hamper mixing of water. Different density, जितनी density ज़्यादा होगी वो पानी नीचे होगा. Different density layers, this water masses with different density create layers in the ocean, leading to stratification. This stratification can limit mixing of water. इससे mixing of water नहीं हो पाती है, जिसकी वजह से availability of nutrients and oxygen, affecting the nutrient availability and oxygen level, which in turn influences marine life distribution. अब ओशन करेंट्स चूंकि डायनेमिक होते हैं, दे आर फाउंड टू बी एक्सटेंडिंग ओवर लॉन्ग एरियाज, so the impact is also found over large oceanic bodies, matlab their impact is widespread. Ocean currents being dynamic, so they have widespread impact affecting ocean on a large scale, and thus influencing global climate and marine biodiversity on a large scale. क्योंकि ocean currents are dynamic entities, they keep on moving, their influence is found far and wide. Water masses are static bodies. Water masses are large bodies of water, extensive bodies of water. They are static, creating specific condition in specific part of the ocean and specific coastal region. उनका impact localized होता है. Ocean currents being dynamic, so they migrate to different parts. They widespread impact है इनका. They affect ocean on a large scale, and they influence global climate pattern and marine biodiversity on a large scale. But the influence of water mass is localized, and it is confined to that area. So these were the two questions that were quite analytical.